Okay, we are back. I'm your host, Barry Waxler, here with the lovely and talented Andrea Kay and the always incredible Urban Miaris, or I should say the urban legend himself. I know, it's getting a little boring over here.
Yeah.
When you're incredible, that's the way it is. So, anyway,
he's horrible.
Do we have anything? You had a couple of points you wanted to bring up on things going on out there?
Well, yeah, what's going on out there? All y'all know how passionate I am about fur babies. Y'all know how much I love my baby Bo. And we recently had the San Diego Humane Society on the show, which was just so near and dear to my heart. Well, I don't know if many of you know that this is the Adopt a Senior Pet Month at the San Diego Humane Society, celebrating all the sensational senior pets. They need love too. And these senior pets are animals ages 7 years and older, and their adoption fee is only $25, Barry. And the benefits of senior pets, they want everybody to know the benefits are you can still teach them. Old dogs can always learn new tricks. You know, when you get a puppy, I know this from my baby Bo, you don't know what they're going to turn out to be like. You know when you get a senior what you're going to get.
Right.
And, you know, they're kind of laid back and more chill. So those are some of the reasons why you want to think about a senior pet if you're thinking about adopting. And please do adopt. Please, please, please do adopt instead of going to some backyard breeder. I'm not going to lecture anymore. But what I will do is I've got two very special pets that I'm going to put up on Facebook later today. You're going to want to, if you're listening and you live in San Diego and even surrounding areas, you're going to want to go check out Miss Daisy. She's an 8-year-old spayed Pomeranian Chihuahua. I die at this little face. Her adoption fee is only $25. I'm going to put it up. You're going to see her and you're going to go, I have to bring this fur baby home. Or you might look at Edward, who's 9 years old, a neutered male. I mean, Barry, I'm going to put this. Is this cute? I asked Ted, our next guest of the show. Ted, you may want him. Now, Edward, because he has special needs, his adoption fee is $0. So that's just really special because he's just a little love, a little lap dog, according to the Humane Society. So check me out on Facebook later. I'm going to post these up. Go to the Humane Society. Actually, all three locations, Gaines Street, Escondido, and Oceanside, have this special Adopt a Senior Pet Month.
Great.
Adopt, people.
Awesome. Okay, let's get to our next guest. Welcome, Ted Bumgardner from XPERA Group. Welcome, Ted.
Barry, thank you so much, and thank you to your team to have me on your show.
Right. Well, always excited to have one of our great new local companies here. So tell us a little bit about XPERA. What do you do?
Well, Barry, we are in the construction consulting business, and I know that sounds fairly broad. What we have assembled is probably the most experienced and diverse group of construction expertise in San Diego County and possibly the state, but I'll just claim San Diego County right now. And we harness that energy and knowledge to help people through the process of construction, development, real estate, etc. We provide a full range of consulting services, everything from market analysis and market studies and feasibility studies to entitlement consulting through the complex process of getting permits on major projects on the West Coast, then all the way through the waterproofing consulting, building envelope consulting, helping our clients who are builders, developers, contractors, architecture firms, helping them through the process to make these projects as best as they can be, helping them stay out of trouble. And then we have a full range of construction experts that provide testimony in construction litigation for those projects who didn't call us in the first place.
Well, you being construction consultants, I think the focus that I want to get out to our audience is that you are traditionally more of a quality control company, correct?
Well, we are. That's part of our service. In fact, a large part of our business is providing quality assurance. A lot of the major insurance companies who insure a lot of these major projects you see all around, these large high-rises, and especially the large residential projects. Because in California, if you build a condominium project, you're most likely going to get sued. So most of the major insurance carriers require independent third-party quality assurance. We provide that as a service and involved in a lot of major projects around all over California.
So your firm will help cut down the future litigation, the things that we don't see yet because it takes years for that stuff to fester, but your firm will help cut that down in the future.
Absolutely, very. And you know, in California, it's an interesting trend. It's amazing when you look at this. You can see if you plotted the number of residential units that close on sale by year, and then you plot the number of defects litigation cases filed by year. Those two curves are the exact same curve with about a 5-year shift. Downtown San Diego, all these large condominium projects you see down here, I believe that something in the neighborhood of over 90% of those built in this last cycle have already gone into litigation, and those that haven't yet probably will. So it's treacherous business, and so we provide help to the builders, developers to help make it right and to mitigate that risk and do it right.
Well, one of the reasons why it's treacherous is also because, as you were telling us before the show, all the easy stuff's been built in San Diego, right?
Absolutely. A good point. What's happened is, if you think about these building cycles, the greenfield development, going out into the middle of undeveloped property and just building from the ground up, that's becoming the much, much smaller part of what's being developed right now. And now the development has moved toward the more difficult, especially in San Diego County. We're pretty much built out. There's a little bit left in the way of greenfield developments, but it's very, very small compared to the whole. And so what you see now is all these projects down along the coastline in high-density areas. Our ideas of where we want to live has changed. Now people are moving back into the more urban areas around transit, etc. These projects are now more likely to be a mixed-use project with residential, commercial. No one wants to live in the easiest project to build. Think about this. The easiest project to build and stay out of trouble is a very simple cube, a box that's very simple and straight lines and no undulation, etc. Who wants to live in that, right?
That would be true.
So all an attractive, appealing residential project is one with lots of undulation, changes in materials to scale down the project, exterior decks, all these things that are complicated, and defect cases, lawsuits happen at the intersection of contracts. It's where people's work comes together on the outside of a building. That's where a lot of the problems come from.
Well, one of the things we talked about before we got on air is, you are an outsourced company for the contractors that put these developments up. Why aren't other companies doing this themselves? Why wouldn't a big construction company have their own staff to do this?
Well, big construction companies, they do their own quality assurance, and we're not a replacement for their own. We're another set of eyes with extreme experience to help them be better at what they do. The development companies, for example, a lot of our business is directly for the property owners, development companies, etc. And a lot of the development companies learn through these cycles, going back to the cycle that occurred, when savings and loans went upside down at the end of the 80s and early 90s, and then this last recession after the housing crisis, etc. A lot of development companies learned that they're best not having a huge overhead and infrastructure that they then have to let go of and bring on as these cycles occur, but go to outsource a lot of their technical expertise and support. We help supplement and support that.
Great. You're listening to Close Up on San Diego Business here on KFSD AM 1450 and Bloomberg Radio, financialnewsandtalk.com. Give us a tweet at CloseUpSD or find us on Facebook. We want to hear from you. I'm your host, Barry Waxler, here with my co-host, Andrea Kay and Urban Miaris. And our guest is Mr. Ted Bumgardner from XPERA Group. So now, your company's fairly young, isn't it?
We are. We just had our 5th anniversary.
5th anniversary. So what you're telling me is that you started when everybody told you not to.
Good point. I started my company in the summer of 2009, and now in hindsight, it's pretty much the depth of the recession.
Yeah.
A lot of people said, "Ted, you're nuts. What are you thinking, starting a company now?" And in hindsight, it was the absolute best time to start a new company.
Why is that?
Probably when everybody else is cutting corners, you're showing them how not to cut the corner the wrong way.
And competitors are fighting just to stay alive.
Yeah.
If they are even in business.
Look, think about it this way. If you think about what our business is, we sell expertise, we sell experience, we sell, i.e. the word XPERA. It's a derivative of the Latin root for experience, XPERA. But we sell experience. No better time to accumulate the very best, most experienced folks in the marketplace than the depth of the recession.
True.
If I'd have tried to do what I did at the peak of construction to assemble the team I have now, no one could have afforded it. It would probably been impossible. But you put together the best of the best, and then we're here for the next wave, and that's what's led to our success.
Well, that's great. I mean, I take my hat off to companies like yours. You have about 20 employees here in town, and putting together employment and spurring the economy and doing things right and taking that risk on at the hardest possible time. I love it. I love it. I just
That's
want
what our show's all about, really
It is.
celebrating people like you. And you're doing some big projects.
We
Tell
are.
everybody about some of what you're working on right now.
Gosh, we are involved all up and down the West Coast. Last year, a quarter of our business was in the Bay Area. We're working for a lot of the major home builders. We're working. Qualcomm's a major client of ours. The Irvine Company is a major client of ours. We're involved in as a consultant on the new rental car center, that massive project that you see right there by the airport. We're a construction manager for overseeing the construction of a new $55 million hotel tower out for Viejas. We are involved in a lot of the major downtown construction.
How in the world did a new startup in this time get a hold of clients with names like Qualcomm? I mean, how did you do that?
Well,
what's the secret?
The secret is pretty simple, really. Although I started this business 5 years ago, I've been in the business and industry for over 37 years. And, we're kind of a company of old construction guys. We're trying now to bring on more and more young folks. But as we started the company, I assembled some of the best known, best connected folks who've been around a long time. When you sell experience, you got to start with experience. And
okay.
so there's a lot. It's a small world and a close industry, and we're fairly well connected to a lot of the good clients out there.
And never burn a bridge, people, right?
That's right. It is. So you bring high value to your client. You do what you say you're going to do. You stand behind it, and you deliver more than you promise, and business works.
Yeah, that's fabulous.
Well, we haven't really, real quick in the few minutes we've got left,
Yeah.
we haven't really talked about the permitting process and the expertise that you bring to that. And that's part of what makes it so difficult for developers in San Diego, right? Can you give us like a real quick synopsis on that?
It is. I mean, I've built across the country. I've built in Texas. I've built in San Diego, and I've built all up and down the West Coast. I've been involved in projects all over, and it is extremely difficult. I mean, the whole entitlement process and what have you is very, very challenging. You think about San Diego and all the places you really want to be, closest to the coast, et cetera, the most expensive properties. The neighborhood associations are very active. People care about those neighborhoods. People are very sensitive to what goes on in them, and they swing a lot of power. There's a lot of regulation, and it's a very complex process to get through all of that. And we have a lot of experience in doing it, and I describe sometimes to people, we're kind of the Sherpa taking our clients through the Himalayas. I mean, we know where the rocks are to step on, and we know where not to step. So.
Well, that's great. Hey, we're starting to run short on time. Tell our listeners how they can find out more about XPERA.
Go to our website, www.xperagroup.com. That's XPERAGROUP.com.
Okay, XPERA, without the E in the beginning, XPERAGROUP.com. Ted, appreciate you being here.
Sherpa Ted.
Definitely want to get together with you, and let's tell this story some more.
Thank you, sir.
Great. You're listening to Close Up on San Diego Business, where we get up close and personal with homegrown San Diego business and the people that are working hard to make a difference in our community. Send us a tweet at CloseUpSD or just find us on Facebook and let us know what you think. I'm your host, Barry Waxler. We'll be right back after a word from our sponsors.